Hello guys, and welcome back to another video in our channel, and welcome back to our post-match tactical analysis of Chelsea's 1-0 victory over Everton. This was quite an intriguing game. As you all saw, the scoreline was 1-0, but the game had some tactical tweaks that Enzo Maresca actually put in at Chelsea, and we saw some brilliant performances from certain players. One of those players was Robert Sanchez. We also saw some good performances for the inclusion of Romeo Lavia in the team, who brought some calmness in that team. Moises Caicedo again, Enzo Fernandez, and you can clearly see the midfield dynamic. Now, Chelsea's 1-0 victory over Everton was not the usual game that we have been seeing. And we saw Maresca altering his tactics by starting Noni Madueke down the left, starting Caicedo as a right back who inverts into midfield alongside Lavia, and also the positioning of Palma in his best position, as well as putting Neto down the right where he can cut in and look to whip in crosses. Now, before we even start our analysis, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Let's proceed. Now, Maresca was not in the touchline, and Willy Caballero, a former Chelsea player, took up the position as the assistant coach in this game. And Chelsea had some interesting tactics in this game, and I just want to share some clips and explain how it went. Now, Chelsea, with the ball, assembled themselves in a 3-2-5 structure, while Everton assembled themselves in a 4-2-4 structure. Remember, I talked about the 4-2-4 and how the 4-2-4 helps mitigating the box midfield as well as preventing the wide centre backs from pushing forward. This tactic also had its Achilles heels, as that Everton had to play with an aggressive mid block, and Trevor Chalobah in particular would identify spaces over and play balls over the top, especially for the runs of Noni Madueke. That was not only the only thing that Chalobah did in the first half. Chalobah also exploited the runs that Pedro Neto made. And Neto sometimes will drop deep, pull a fullback out of position, then run back, as he knew very well he can outpace almost all fullbacks in the league. The threat that Chelsea were posing in the wide areas, especially by the runs of both Noni Madueke and Pedro Neto, was giving problems for Everton. And Everton fullbacks were being dragged out of positions with players looking to make those half-space runs. Here, Enzo Fernandez is being able to make that run. Palma, Jackson, and Neto in the far side are now looking to attack the box. And now Everton, from the disciplined 4-2-4 structure, have been opened up. And throughout the first half, Chelsea always found themselves in this position. And in this case, Jackson drops deeper and attempts a shot in goal, which he fails to score. But the intention of Chelsea and their dynamic of play was clearly elaborated in this pattern of play. Another thing that we noticed about is the domination of the game. And we saw the way Chelsea dominated the game in the first half. Earlier on in the second half, Chelsea became so conservative, and in the later stages, Chelsea became even more aggressive in this kind of structure. Now, Chelsea, with the ball, also in their 3-5 structure, wanted to play through by having Jackson dropping deeper to lay the ball onto Caicedo, who could lay the ball onto Neto, and Chelsea could now have the 5-man attacking Everton's back four. Neto in this particular position was able to dribble past his players and look to whip in crosses in the defensive area, but Braithwaite did an incredible job in cutting Chelsea's crosses from this position. Maresca also identified the way he could further improve and the tactical changes he made in Chelsea that gave Chelsea an advantage. And one way Maresca did this was through Chelsea's aggressive pressing. Now, Chelsea at home actually started the game with a lot of pressure. They were looking to put a lot of pressure onto Everton. And this is what actually costed Everton the game, as they made a sloppy pass. Jackson will lead the press. And once Jackson will lead the press, the centre-backs were so aggressive in stepping out of their position to actually win the ball, because even Lavia was actually pushing forward to impose that press. Here again, Everton are looking to play from the back. Jackson is forcing the ball to be played on one side. Palma is covering a midfielder, and Jackson is forcing the press onto the other centre back where he's ready to press. The ball is played to the other centre back. Palma springs out. Lavia springs out to cover the centre back and the holding midfielder. Enzo Fernandez springs out, and now Chelsea are in a position where they can pin Everton on one side. And because of this constant press and constant shifting of the ball towards one side, Everton found it problematic in the initial phases of the game to play through Chelsea and just decided to go long. When they decided to go long, Chalobah in particular will step out, win the ball, and look to play the ball forward. And that's actually what Chelsea did that saw them actually score the goal, because the ball is won, the ball is played to Enzo, Enzo lays the ball to Nicholas Jackson, but in this instant, Pickford manages to make a huge save for Everton. Now, when you look at the average positions of the team, you can see the structures. Everton were more in that 4-4 structure, while Chelsea were in that more 3-5 structure. With you can see the width being generated by both wingers, the positions of Enzo, the positions of Palmer, and as well as the position of Moises Caicedo, who was inverting from the right position. Now, Chelsea without the ball would sit in their usual 5-4-1, either by Noni Madueke dropping deeper, or in the usual 4-4-2 with Jackson and Palmer leading the press. However, this Chelsea structure was also not quite impenetrable, as I'm going to show you how Everton in some instances wanted to get the best out of Chelsea. Now, here is one instance. Everton have the ball, and now Noni Madueke has been drawn to the press. Now, in this pressing strategy, Everton are able to play the ball through Chelsea, and this is because Chelsea's press was not well coordinated. Everton player has the ball at his feet, and now Everton can be able to spot the space after Lavia has been drawn out to go and press, and probably this might be because Lavia has not been playing a lot and does not understand the structure. Lavia is drawn out, the ball is played to Everton's dropping in forward, and now Everton are in a position where they are attacking Chelsea with numbers, and this created problems for Chelsea in the first half. Everton will shift the ball, especially in the wide areas where they would attempt crosses. And lucky for Chelsea was that Sanchez had a good game. Otherwise, Chelsea would have dropped points in this game. David Moyes was just not doing this when Chelsea have the ball, but also when Chelsea were looking to press, as he had identified a way to use his target aerial dominant centre forward to win the ball. Here, Chelsea are pressing, but Noni Madueke is late to his press, and now Everton have bypassed Chelsea's front four press, and they are now running at Chelsea's midfield and back four. The ball is played easily into a player in between the lines, and you can just see the way Chelsea's midfield is staggering slowly. And Caicedo, who was caught in midfield, now finds the right back position empty, and actually Everton can exploit it. The ball is played towards the wide area, and Everton flood the box. Luckily, Chalobah is able to cut that passing lane, but if you do this against dominant teams like Liverpool, you'll get punished. Everton in this position are able to cross the ball, but the ball is not well perfectly crossed and therefore flies across goal. A very dangerous position that Chelsea can actually put themselves around. Another thing was also drawing Chelsea's fullbacks out and having players making runs. And you can see, look at the space between Chelsea's back four. That's a huge space. And Chalobah should have been quite tight. And now the ball is played forward. Then the ball is played towards the wide area. And this is actually the position where Sanchez managed to save Chelsea the points. Because when this ball is played, this is after Reece James came on, the cross is made, and actually Everton have a shot on target. Luckily for Chelsea, Robert Sanchez saved Chelsea the 3 points, because this was probably a certain goal. Now we proceed. Now Chelsea are currently 5th in the Premier League table. Liverpool have been confirmed champions, and Chelsea are now entering the tough run of fixtures. 4 fixtures that can define Chelsea's season. 4 fixtures that Chelsea need to win 3 games. Chelsea really needed the 1-0 victory again over Everton, because there's not talking about the latter 4 games without the win over Everton. And now the question is, can Chelsea do it against this superb Liverpool side? Can they do it against Newcastle? Can they do it against Manchester United? Can they do it against Nottingham Forest? It's a very tough call. What do you think? Do you agree with my analysis? Leave your comments in the comment section area below. Thanks for watching and see you in our next video. Bye.